Okay, welcome back to the Scope podcast. Simi and Lukey are laughing in the background. Officially welcome. Jacko, have you been introduced as Ice? Have you already done your podcast
this morning? We did one this morning, okay. Got the big intro. So, yeah.
I wanted to be your first one, but whatever. This show, we've come up with the name. You're a rookie at you're not a rookie at YKTR Sports. You're a rookie to Australia in YKTR Sports. So this is going to be called The Rookie and the Vet.
Cut some content for us, mate. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I like that. So it's got a good ring.
It's going to be, we're going to talk about our tips for the weekend. I lost the same game, Multi of Doom, on the weekend, so now you're up.
You won the same game, huh?
Oh,
you
no,
lost
but
the Multi of Doom.
Yeah, that's right. Correct. See, that's why we bring you on. I need that. Need to be corrected. Let's do a grateful while I figure out what. There's one more thing I wanted to say, but it's all right. Moving on. Oh, we're going to do a debrief. Sorry. So it's a part of the show now. We'll debrief 2 or 3 games that we thought are important, and then we'll go to the picks, the Multi of Doom, like I said, which you'll pick, and the best pick of the week. But I'm sure you've got a few things to be grateful for today, brother.
Yeah.
What's your one?
Oh, should I? Can he hear me? Or
nah? No, I think he's closed the door.
Grateful for Ice. Grateful that I got the opportunity to come over finally and actually do it. So we're talking today. Basically, it's almost 18 months kind of to the day, a little bit or 2 years that I sent the first sort of cold email to Ice asking to work for free. And then came in today, first official day at school. Lukey's showing me the ropes. It's been a bit of a chaotic day, everyone coming in and out. Obviously yourself and Simi coming in, running amok. So I'm just grateful to be here, man. Like it sounds a little bit weird now that I've kind of been on the radar for so long but not in here. But yeah. Grateful to be in here.
Grateful to have you.
And grateful to do a face-to-face podcast.
Yeah, mate. I know. That's grouse because, normally I've got the crook neck of doom because I'm looking down at the laptop. But so had you already discussed coming in here as well with, and I think Ice got you and Lukey on board. Was that before my first podcast when – so Lukey's nodding his head in the background.
Yeah.
Go. Lukey's going to come on mic.
Yeah, it was Jackson and I. We got linked up with Ice in a group chat. I remember we were just driving home and Ice and I had been talking about it. Same time, Jackson and Ice had been talking about it as well. And then he's like, hey, boys, Jackson meet Lukey. Lukey meet Jackson.
Yep.
Let's do YKTR Sports.
And then how long was I after that? I wouldn't have been because I feel like I've been here for about 18 months as well.
When I flew in for those first couple of days. That was your first couple of days in and around.
You had Kiri on the podcast, and that was episode 4.
4, yep. Kiri and Rubes. So exciting. Very grateful. That's a very good grateful.
What about yourself, man? What do you got?
My grateful is that you have found a place nice and close to where the offices are. So, like everyone knows, sometimes we do a number on ourselves on the Footy Companion. Just make sure the couch is. You know what? Not make sure. I'd be grateful if there was a nice little blanket, nice pillow, and I can potentially sleep on your couch after I do a number myself on the Footy Companion.
Panadol and the Powerades and the ready to go.
Love that. And we've got a sponsor. Maybe we'll talk about that on 10 in the Ken tonight too. Might have some of their supplements there as well for recovery. Hit the intro, please, Lukey.
Tell me what you need. Let's go. Tell me what you want and want. Let's go. Tell me what you call. Let's go. Yeah.
This is where I do my best work, baby. Shit. And where I didn't do my best work was the Roosters and Manly game on the weekend.
Mate.
So we'll obviously start off with that. The YKTR Sports have been parading that around as much as we can. I'm looking at Lukey as well as you, Jacko. You love letting everyone know that I picked the Roosters to miss the 8 and I picked Manly with the start, which you disagreed with last week on the show. You were right, mate. What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, look, I'm paying you out for saying the Roosters are going to miss the 8 was just horrendous. But there was plenty of people who liked the Manly bet. I don't think that was a terrible bet. I actually said to you, like, I wouldn't do it myself, but I don't think you were an idiot for picking it. The spread was 9.5, I think, off the top of my head, back then, and it seemed like a good punt. Particularly, I know obviously Tommy Turbo wasn't there, and like you said, the spread wouldn't have been 9.5 if he was. But they still got a fucking good side, Manly, and they'll be. You probably know more than me. Obviously talking to the boys, but they'll be pretty disappointed with how they defended, particularly on the edges. They got fucking shredded. So, look, the Roosters doing Roosters shit. B-Moz and Tedesco reminding everyone how good they are. So, I didn't expect that scoreline, but I did think the Roosters would get up.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, that's okay, brother. I was completely wrong. I'll cop the lemons. Yep. I'm always willing to cop the lemons when I deserve it. I cop probably more lemons than I get jam, but when I get jam, it's big time jam, baby. And we'll get to that. With the game in particular, one thing that stood out for me as well, I don't know if it was just because Roosters were playing so well or they're on the back foot. If you've watched Manly football in the past, they're renowned for up and in, really rush defence. and they seem to be backing off a fair bit. I don't know if that was due to the new rules and, like I said, the state of play that the Roosters were playing at, but it'd be interesting to see if they roll that sort of tactic, because they're up for another big game this week against South.
The scary thing for Manly is I don't think the Roosters were that good by their standards. A lot of passes falling behind. You know, they were kind of not off because they put up, you know, however many 40-odd points, but they weren't the Roosters. They weren't firing on all cylinders, and they ran a fucking cricket score on them. So particularly with, like, I used to be the first one to tell you how well South run their shape. Like, you got to be fucking careful. If you can get torn apart by Roosters on a good day, South on a great day will fucking shred you. So it was very unmanly like that defence. I don't expect it again, but yeah, the Roosters weren't 10 out of 10. Similar to Penrith. Penrith weren't at their absolute best and still put, 20 plus on, which you did say. You did call that.
Yep.
20 plus on the Cowboys. So round one's always hard to pick, so I'm not going to hold it against you that you got a couple wrong. So but the Roosters, just doing Roosters shit, man. What more can you say?
As far as our picks for the week, you do. So you're leading the comp. You and Lukey, you got 7 from 8.
7 from 8. The only one I missed was I did take the Dogs in the end over Huey.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. We're about to talk. And by the way, I got 5 from 8, which is not too bad for you. Like you said, week one, you're trying to figure out the teams. I still don't think, like I said, you'll figure out the teams until at least week 4. Obviously, if you watch any sports, generally a team that sort of gets dusted week 1 comes out and puts out a good performance in week 2. So once we get on the tips, I'll take that into consideration when I'm picking some of my teams. But we both really like the Dogs as the 5.5 start, and it was a nice start. I thought Kyle Flanagan, like I said, like we talked about, I thought he looked pretty comfortable there initially. There's just a few little tweaks on defence that I spoke about with Kempy on the previous show that I'm still a little bit worried about with the Dogs. But what were your thoughts on the Knights? Did considerably pretty well without Callum Palmer and Blake Graham?
They did much better than I expected them to be. Mitch Barnett's a fucking freak out there, man.
Played really well, Mitchie. Big fan of the show too, Mitchie. We love Mitchie.
I'll tell you what, he's what everyone wants in a back rower. He's got it all.
And kicking goals too.
Kicking goals as well, just to fucking take the piss some more. Look, I thought I after the Bulldogs start and then Kurt Mann going down, I thought the Bulldogs would not run away with it because the Dogs probably don't have enough strike to run away with it against a lot of teams in terms of pure talent out there, to be honest. But I thought Jake Averillo, like we said, he's gonna work into his game. I don't think it was a terrible round 1. Like I've seen some people sort of paying him out. I thought he was actually quite good in the first half in particular. But the Dogs just once they fell behind that sort of grit and claw that they had last year to claw back into games, it just wasn't quite there. Maybe it's just a round 1 thing, like you said. But yeah, that was the game that surprised me. But credit to Newcastle, man. Connor Watson was fucking on fire. After going from he's looking like a snack as well. He's bulked up.
Yeah, that Achilles injury that he's had, he's obviously hasn't been running as much. He's a little nugget.
Yeah. So he's obviously preparing, like you said, to play himself in the middle.
Yeah,
he's got the rig to play in the middle. They throw him at 6, and he was swatting them away like it was fucking nobody's business. So I off the top of my head, he's been named there again this week, I assume, at 6.
I've got here we go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
This up as we're going.
Obviously, if Kurt Mann's out, that'd be
Kurt Mann's been named.
Oh, Kurt Mann has been named.
Yep.
And Connor Watson.
And Connor Watson's at 13 again, but he was named 13 and come off the bench last week.
So, I mean, he's a massive asset to them, like just his versatility. Like you said last week, every team kind of needs that I suppose you call it the number 14, the guy who can come on and, your Craig Wing in Origins. It's just the real plug-in guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was massive for them last week and a big part of why they got past the Dogs.
Yeah. And a few people have put the line through the Dogs as well. I think it was maybe Andrew Voss named 4 or 5 teams, put a line through them. I'm not going to put a line through the Dogs yet.
No.
Even though I backed them, I'm also not surprised that they didn't win. Just more surprised that they sort of got blown out the way they did at the end. A few little changes that I'd make. Obviously, defensively, I think having a guy like Adam Elliott, who's a renowned middle, he was playing out the edge. He turned in on the first try for Safidi. Just little things like that can be easily tweaked. Like that's not a big fix for me. Josh Jackson's been around in the middle now for him for a couple of years. I wouldn't mind seeing Jacko maybe flick back out to the edge and put Adam Elliott in the middle, but I'm sure but like I said, those are easy fixes. So I'm not going to put a line through the Dogs. I think it was impressive from the Knights to get the win.
Yep.
Skipper Safidi pulls up 100 games and gets a meaty too. So plenty to like there about the Knights, and I'm not going to overreact on the Dogs just yet. The other game that was of interest to both of us, obviously, you being a Warriors fan, and me on the hype of the Titans, very impressive performance for the Warriors. It looked fucking so hot out there. The boys were blowing.
Whatever it was, I think it was the first 17 minutes straight or something without a stop. Like I was gassed watching it, and I could see the boys, like no one wanting to kick it into touch. I was just saying, fucking pump it over the sideline, man. Give the boys a break. Yeah, it was impressive. Like I said, I'm not as high on the Titans this year as everyone else. I think they've got a good side, and they've added obviously 2 big pieces in Tino and Fafita. I just still think they're a couple of pieces away, particularly in the spine. Or maybe it's just reps. They just that spine, because they're talented players, just need reps together. So that's why I didn't have them making the 8. And I thought, like I said, 220 from my boys was straight up disrespect. The Warriors were good, man. In fairness, they probably, if you ask them, they'll probably say they should have put more on. They controlled possession, they controlled territory. They were the only side that really looked like scoring. And they only put up 19 points. Sort of last tackle options let them down a bit, but good round 1 performance. Adam Fanua-Blake looks like a fucking beast, doesn't he? He's an absolute monster, man. So some of the new signings, Ewan Aitken was good as well, stepping up.
Solid.
So I was pleased, man. It wasn't blown away, and we'll probably get to that when we talk about them taking on the Knights this week. But it was a good first up win, man, and the Titans they'll be good for it.
Yeah, I think they'll be thereabouts as well. I thought one thing in particular that stood out watching that game, obviously how gassed they were. I thought Tino looked really good. He was getting in for a whole heap of work.
What about Uncle Pet putting a shot on him as well?
Yeah, got him good. Uncle Pet comes up there. He knows he's a bit of a danger man. He scored that try doom in the trial, so he's trying to skip out again. One thing I want to see is just a little bit of help from some of the other guys. I thought, in particular, like they were just feeding Tino and Fafita and just expecting something to happen. I reckon Fafita's about 4 to 5 weeks away from being match fit, and then we'll see the real Fafita.
I agree.
So I was impressed by Tino, though. The amount of work that he did. I haven't got his stats up there, though. But even in the back end, like right at the death, he was getting in for carries, and even when they flipped him to the left edge, and I think they brought Fafita off, and he's still coming in taking carries on the first and second hit up of the set. So
he's going to be massive for them this year, man. He's very Joseph Tarpany in the way he can, particularly in the red zone. He's such a try scoring threat because he looks like a fucking demon. But the way he skips across and just palms, and then boom, goes through. So the Warriors did well not to shut him down, because I don't think you can shut him down. He's that fucking good. But they contained him with Pet jamming in and stuff every time he kind of got the ball. So teams are going to look at that as kind of the blueprint on how to slow him down, because he can't stop the bloke. But he's going to be better for the run as well. Yep.
And so very similar to me, very impressed by the Warriors. And it's like, it's more of a relief to get that round 1 win for them and the Knights. Yep. And I'm not going to put the line through either the Titans and the Dogs just yet. I want to see how the next couple of weeks flow out.
Agree.
So moving on to the weeks coming up, let's get into the Thursday night game. Lukey, we'll get that up. It's Parramatta Eels at home to the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
Where are you leaving on this one, mate? We had the Melbourne were very impressive against South last week, especially in the first half.
Yeah, they
sort of strangled them.
They're sitting there at $1.42. I'll be interested to know what the spread is on that.
I think it's 6 points.
6 points. Like you said, in these early rounds, you'd rather take the points than take them away. And I think this one will be close. Para will be, they weren't at their absolute fit and firing best last week. But Melbourne, man, they'll be hard to pick against this week. And if you're looking for a sort of a lock in your 3 to 4 leg multi, I think Melbourne will get the chocolates up there, man. I liked them last week.
Yeah, well, this is a tricky game. If I was betting on it, I'd probably stay away from it. I think 6 is the right number. It's that hard to pick it. Like I'm not that confident to go Melbourne will beat them by 6 or more. We did a same game multi. We'll tell that because we're going to put this will probably air after it anyway. So same game multi. We've got
let me bring that up while you keep
Mike Acevo.
Yes.
Anytime try scorer. Either team under 10.5, which I love. I love that 20-point swing. This is just my Thursday night multi that I'll do every week. And then we've also got the under 37.5.
Under 37.5. And remembering you did hit last Thursday night when you had Olam, you had the overs on 41 points, I think it was.
Yep.
And you had either side by 10 as well in that one.
Either side under 10.5. So
that was.
I think this is going to be a close one.
That should have been my grateful because you got me my bond. So good work, bro. Congrats.
No worries about that.
So that's an interesting sort of same game multi for this one. I think we're both in agreement that Para weren't Para last week, were they? They weren't firing on all.
I always thought it was going to be. I told you it was going to be tricky.
You did.
Remember I told you Para the last year they played the Bulldogs and it was a tricky game and they eventually got the chocolates. But I said Broncos were going to cause a bit of dramas and I think they're going to cause a few teams dramas to start the year. I'll wait till we get on the Broncos, but I don't like the +6 and I don't like the -6 for Storm. So I'm just, if I was betting, you've got it this week, but I'd be staying away from that game.
Yeah, I don't like the points either because I do think it's going to be close, but I'd definitely take Melbourne.
Yep, I'm taking Melbourne. I'm not going to get, unless something crazy happens where they lose a whole heap of players, I won't be betting against Melbourne all year.
On them every
so
week.
Melbourne is my tip as well. Your boys, the 6 o'clock game, Friday night game, hey?
We got a Friday night.
Got a Friday night game.
Holy
How good.
shit! Thank you.
Against the Knights, both teams were impressive. We just talked about them breaking down their games. Can you get the team list up, please, Lukey?
$1.95. So the Warriors are underdogs. $1.95 to the Knights. $1.85.
Yeah, it's a coin flip. They the bookies think it's a coin flip, basically. Where are you going? Oh, do you want me to kick this one off?
Yeah, please do, because I can't. I want to delay this heartbreak as long as I can.
I tipped the Warriors.
You did?
Yeah, I tipped the Warriors in this one. I like last week, I tipped against the Knights and they let me down. I think I was just more impressed by the Warriors' performance. To be fair, depending on if the conditions are a bit wet, they don't mind that as well. They're used to playing wet weather footy back home, so. Like you said, we talked about Adam Fanua-Blake. I thought he was very impressive. They're playing a very conservative type of footy, which is going to suit the early rounds. If they can, I think at one point they were at like 91, 92% completion rate.
That's the old Stephen Kearney hangover, mate. Hold the fucking ball.
Yeah, that's yeah, I know all about that. So I just thought out of the two, it was it's a coin flip, obviously with the odds, but I've just gone the Warriors.
Okay, well, I'm glad someone is, mate, because I'm going to be going against my boys this week. I told you I wasn't going to take them every week. I told you I wasn't going to take them. UNA can out. I know that it's only 1 week, and you'd hardly say a brand new centre is a crucial signing. But Adam
Slide down a
Pompey's
little bit, Lukey, and look at the forward.
Adam Pompey's a very he's a very good player, but I believe his best position is wing. And with how good Newcastle are on the edges, I just think that's going to be a point of vulnerability for them. It's a fucking coin flip. Like if I'm going to pick Newcastle. I was more impressed by the same as you were more impressed by the Warriors.
Okay,
I was more impressed by Newcastle, especially considering losing Kurt Mann early. But I think it's just I'm fanboying out over Mitch Barnett. I'm just I think he could be a little. And
Frizz played really well as well on the other end.
But I think Mitch Barnett getting a meat pie into Newcastle head to head here would be a nice little one. So it's with great sadness and sorrow that this week I'll bet against them. I'm kind of only doing it so that I can just pick them for the next 25 rounds. And
so you just get your one out of the way.
No one will say I'm biased, but I think I'll tell you what, Elisa Katoa was, by his standards, very quiet last week, and you saw them sort of targeting a lot of kicks his direction, mate. He's an absolute freak athlete in the air. So he's going to be a real target for the Warriors, but I mean, the Knights will know that. I think they've got enough points, and I think they have more points in them. Okay. To be honest, that's where I'm landing with that one. But like we said, it's a fucking coin flip, that one.
Yep, sweet. Moving on to the Titans versus Broncos. You want to kick us off on this one?
Yeah. What's the? This is where I think I can see a bit of. Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. That's where I think I can see a bit of value. What are the Broncos at?
The Titans are $1.45 and the Broncos are $2.75.
I think the Broncos are a real chance here. I don't buy too much into the big brother, little brother mentality thing. I think the Gold Coast is,
that doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, the way the Broncos have been playing last
2 exactly. So, but I like the Broncos, man. I thought they obviously let the game get away from them last week after that incredible start. Xavier Coates been named, I believe, even though after his, going over in the corner and knocking himself
Scorpion
out.
Of Doom.
Scorpion of Doom. Yeah. But I think the Broncos can get up. Like, it's not just my trepidations with sort of going with the Titans. I don't think. I really like the shape that the Broncos are running early on. For a round one game, some of the stuff they were coming out with, Milford was on fire, and he's needed a big season for a little while. I don't know if there's a harder high ball to catch in the game than when Milf hits it right,
especially at Suncorp, man. I don't know what it is about.
Is it the lights?
Is it the same size field? It always feels like there's so much more open footy played up there. That's another game where everyone looked like they're out on their feet.
Yeah,
and when he throws those bombs up, mate, who was I?
Poor Gutho, you felt for him, man. Every time it went up in the air, you were just like, bro.
I was having dinner with Georgie Defua, and Georgie Defua goes, as soon as he put up the first bomb, he goes, beauty, fuck. He goes, Milf puts up the fucking spiral of doom.
Yeah, he hits it so flat. And even when he doesn't hit it quite right, it still dips away from you because he just guns it. So Brisbane's kind of my upset pick of the week.
Okay.
I like them in this one. The Broncos, I thought that I can't see them letting a lead like that go again. And if they're able to put up somewhere in that 18 to 24 points range, I think their defense is good enough to keep the Titans under. So I like them, especially at whatever you said, was 275?
275, yeah.
I
so
love them at that,
they'd probably be around the maybe 6-point mark as well. With
Yeah,
the start.
if you want to be safe, the start would be good, but I think they can get that one done.
I thought in particular the Broncos' right edge was really impressive. Like you said, you mentioned Milf. He was on that right end. So Tessie New, Jordan Ricky,
right edge,
and X. So so he has been named Xavier Coates. He played nice, scored a couple of metres before he went off. The Broncos finished with 3 players that couldn't finish the game.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really important, especially in a really fatiguing game. Even in the last 10 minutes of the game, all the players looked out on their feet, and Broncos only had 1 sub. So Matt Lodge didn't finish the game, and there's one more. But like you said, they sort of just run out of legs at the end there. But I'm going Titans.
You're going Titans.
I'm going Titans, but I'm not confident at all based on last week's. But like I said, I think it's going to be one of those ones where I think Titans can play better than what they did, and Broncos sort of gave it everything and still come short.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sort of.
You could swing me there, mate. I might be like I'm a degenerate. I might be getting a sucker for the 275 there. Might have me, but look, the Titans are definitely going to be better. There's no two ways about that. And obviously that forward pack is ridiculous with Moe, Proctor, Fafita, and Tino there. And then they bring guys like Peachy and Sam Lasoni off the bench. So it's a good pack. It's a good side. But I just there's something about Brisbane, up there that I like them, man. And if Milf can play anywhere half as good as he did last week, I think they can get the chocolates.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go the Titans on that. And like I said, but after last week, I don't back them with any confidence. I just think they're a better team that can bounce, but one of those teams that can bounce back. The Bulldogs versus the Panthers. Bulldogs at home, $6.50.
Yeah.
Obviously, clearly the biggest underdog of the week. Did you start last one or did I start this? Oh, do you want me to start this?
Yeah, go for it.
Second. Panthers fucked around and won 24-0.
Yeah.
They fucked around. I wrote on Jerome's page, Jerome Lau. I was like, he talked about the game. I said, bro, like, you honestly left 5 tries on the board and won 24-0. So that's fucking scary for the rest of the NRL.
I said it last week. I've got them running the table this year. I like them to go all the way. I don't give a fuck about this second-year syndrome, the young boys getting, their heads too big. They've got that much swagger when they play, man. It comes so fucking easy to them. It's just effortless. I thought they put on an absolute clinic, and, I think this one could be tough. Yeah,
well, that's what the line indicates. That's probably like a $6.50 to $1.12. That's probably like a 14-point head start or whatever. Panthers are going to smack a few teams this year, especially once they get it together. Can you slide down and look at the forward pack as well? Like, that's just Kurt Capewell was nice as well. Tyron May comes off the bench.
Jack Hetherington's going to fire the fuck up for the Dogs, man, against his former side as well. He's got a bit of shit in his game, which
he's going to be he was flying out of the line last week.
He was flirting with the yellow card. He's going to get a few this year. He might see yellow in this one, old Jackie.
Yeah, he's going to be seeing red. The Bulldogs started well, need a few tweaks, but unfortunately they're coming up against, if I was doing, what do they do, the power rankings over in the States, I had Storm, Rabbitohs, Panthers. I'd flip the Panthers above Rabbitohs right now after last week's performance. It's one of those things that can change week to week depending on momentum.
I agree. I think the Storm would still be up top, just given their sort of strength of schedule. I suppose you'd say they played the better team and had an awesome performance.
Yep.
And with all due respect to the Cowboys, they're not on the Rabbitohs level. We don't think this year.
No.
Like you said, but the Panthers can fuck around and smack a team by 20. They're going to be a problem. So I think we'd both be taking them in this one, yeah. And
if you haven't, so if there's anything I'd be punting on, that left edge in particular, left a couple out on the field. Old Stevie Crichton, he's only a pup. He'll develop that in his game. He could have passed to Brian Toto a couple of times. I was speaking to some. Me and Normie were talking about it, and I was like, he is that strong that he thinks he can physically beat everyone every single time, which is nice because when you talk about some of those guys that come through like GI and all these players, he can see a full line defense and think he can still score. Like, he's got that sort of mindset, which I love, and he'll develop it. A couple of little passes, mate, keep floating around that drone was really impressive, I thought.
He was great, man. He's remember there was a lot of times, even last year when Matt Burton was coming through, and the media, I suppose, pumped it up as what direction is Penrith going to go? It's obviously Nathan Cleary. Who's going to be his crime partner? Is it going to be Jerome Luai? Are they going to ride this little momentum wave or invest in kind of the safe option in Matt Burton and roll with that? They roll with Jerome, and he's getting better and better every time he fucking plays, man. Like, he's one of those guys that you hate to say confidence player because you'd know playing. Everyone's a confidence player. When you're up, you're up. But fuck, he looks like he has so much fun out there, man.
Just swagger.
Yeah, a real swagger about him. So
and they love each other too. That left edge, man. They were doing everything together. So
yeah,
that matters. Moving on, next week, the game after is my team, Manly against South. You can kick us off on this because I started.
Manly's at $4 there. Scroll back up, Lukey. Sorry, mate. I just want to see what the $1.25. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of value in it. I think the Rabbitohs will win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But like the Roosters game because like we said at the top of the show, Manly that was very unmanly like the defense. So they're going to be better, and they've still got a great back line. Fuck that. Oh, Jason Saab. Is he tall enough?
Jason Saab, yeah.
Holy fuck.
6'4", 6'5", or whatever.
That's bullshit. He's every bit of 6'6".
Yeah.
He's massive. I think it'll be closer, but like I said, at the top of the show, that the fluidity and the way that Souths run their shape concerns me if you're a Manly fan because they got shredded by the Roosters who weren't quite firing on all cylinders. And the Rabbitohs, there's no team that does it better when they get into their shape. So
slide down to the forwards too, please, Luke.
I think the Rabbitohs will win. I'd leave it out of any punt just because I don't think there's enough value. There's enough value in it.
Reserves out. Get the reserves one out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough value really.
Yeah.
And player for player, I just think they got them covered. So I'll be going against your Bird Gang again. Sorry, mate.
I am also going against my Bird Gang, and I'm quite concerned from last week and for the what you said there, the way they got done on the edges, how clinical the Rabbitohs have looked so far in the Charity Shield game, and then once they got their shit together in the second half, I think Latrell could have a field day on my Bird Gang this week. I think the start might be with 7, 8.5 again.
You'd be having a look.
I'm not confident, I'm not confident on them after last week. Which might be a good thing for my Bird Gang. You know when you're too close to it and I get too emotional about, oh, fuck, they're going to beat the Roosters because I hate the Roosters. They beat us in the grand final and all that shit. And then, now I'm like, I'm starting to give up. But
it's good to see Cade Cuss get there on the bench. He scored a hat-trick in the Newey Cup
out
of hooker. So he's a nice player, man. I like Cade Cuss, but I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. And how about Uncle Benji, mate, coming on and doing the damn thing last Thursday? We kind of didn't talk enough about it, but
Simi talked it up. He's like, put Benji on.
Right, and with the way these rules are changing, and obviously Wayne is such a wizard, he can already see into the future at the way the game's going. He brings on a guy like Benji, who just he's that link between Walker and Reynolds. Particularly when you don't have Latrell can ball play the fuck at fullback, but he's not a traditional ball playing fullback. He's a runner. So you bring on a guy who can be that link, and Latrell can just be Latrell. Yeah. I'm with you. I think he could have a bit of a field day.
Jai Arrow was really nice as well.
He was.
It's funny when you're because you've got follow the Manly forum pages and all that sort of stuff, and they're like, Cade Cuss scored a hat-trick in reserve grade.
Get him in.
I was like, yeah, it's reserve grade. Relax. He wasn't playing the New South Wales Roosters team. Like, fucking hell. It's like, when they're like, nothing against Cade Cuss. When there's overreactions when it comes to reserve grade and then they're going like, they come too hard on the first graders and you boost up the Reggie's plays, especially when you're at a proud club like Manly. Just hold on all that
relax.
stuff. Like he wasn't playing fucking the Morris twins and Tedesco and Kiri and all these names. So
he was good for them last year as well, Cade. He was good
in the
All-Stars game.
The All-Stars game as well.
Yeah,
so
he's fucking strong, man. But yeah, I get your point. Yeah, people assume if you can run amok in reserve grade that you get a jumper.
I scored a few tries in reserve grade too.
I'm sure you have, mate.
I had a field day a couple of times as well. It doesn't mean I played good in first grade.
That's where I did his best work for the Mighty Vulcans.
Yeah, he played a few. The next game is Cowboys up at the Dragons, and Mudders is back.
Mudders. Well, we said last week, no Mudders, no chance, and we were right. But at $2.60, and we spoke a little bit off air about this, I like him. I like him as a bit of an upset in this one. I don't actually think it's an upset. Similar to my boys getting the 220 last week against the Titans, I think 260 is a bit disrespectful to the mighty St. George and the mighty Red V. That backline is filthy. Like, when you look at it just on paper, Dufty, Ramsey, Bird, Lomax, Big Makeli, Ravalawa, Mudders, obviously, and Ben Hunt.
Good pronunciation.
Thanks,
well done
bro.
with that.
Appreciate it. I come from New Zealand, so I get this. I like them, man. I think they showed a fair bit of fight in that loss last week.
Yep.
They showed a fair bit of
grit
and sort of threatened the comeback then, especially for someone like me who had a fair bit of fat riding on
best bet.
riding on
Never in
the
doubt,
Sharks.
baby.
The Sharks getting up, yeah, never in doubt. But yeah, I like them, man. I think they're a real chance. We were kind of. We said last week we're a bit concerned about them this year. Period. You said you'd probably be taking against them every week. But I think they showed enough in that round one. Cowboys just looked flat. There's differing opinions on this Jason Taumalolo experiment, giving him fuck all minutes to use him at the back end of his career, which some people even in this office like. I don't particularly like it. I think if he can play 80 and he wants to play 80, let him play fucking 80 or close to it. But yeah, at 260, man, I'll be taking the Drags this week for sure.
Yeah, I'm also on the Dragons. I thought, though, like I said, there wasn't going to be many times. They're going to be one of those teams that I won't back with any money, but I'm for the tipping comp, I'm on the Dragons. I thought the Cowboys defended really well in the first half against, like I said, Penrith blew a lot of chances, but Cowboys were really desperate and, they put their body on. They eventually just ran out of gas. They didn't have quite the cattle that the Panthers had, and they were just mismatched like across the field. These two teams, I think, we've spoken about, they're going to be closer to the bottom of the ladder. It's a really important game for both of them. Speaking of Normie, I know, this is one of those games, man. He needs to come out and have a big game for him. The fight that they showed last week, I thought, Duff with that fucking try. There's not many players, maybe Teddy and Brimo and Pappy that can score those sorts of tries, man. That was outstanding.
He's special, man. With ball in hand, he's special.
That was a beautiful try. Jack Bird was very solid too. I'd still like to see Jack Bird play in the middle.
And that Connor Watson role?
Yeah,
me too.
I'd love to see him in the middle. But
full pack of doom, it's going to be hard to push one of those guys out.
Yeah, so even getting in the middle and even if because they've got Braden Williami on the bench who comes on and plays centres, if you could potentially move Jack Bird at the back end of the half or the game just for 10 or 15 minutes.
Let him run amok.
If the game's close and you see Birdie getting in there, getting a bit more of a touch when, some of these players get tired, not name Jason Tomalolo because he's not on the field. That'd be ideal. It'd be nice if, if you're Dragons, you want Jace off the field as much as you can. So
Corey will be telling me to shut the fuck up saying they should play Jace 80. So
yeah.
Sorry, bro.
But I'm going to back the Dragons in this one.
Good
but
man.
Because I've left the betting all to you, I haven't really had a look at, who are back or who my best bet is because I'm going to leave that to you, mate.
Yep.
Let's move on to Sunday's games. West Tigers versus the Roosters.
Yeah, $1.25 to $4 there for the Roosters. I think it's another one where they probably put on a bit of a clinic. Like we said, we're not touching putting our money anywhere near the Tigers because even
so
last
you're
week,
going to jump on that. So you don't want anything to do with the Tigers.
To do with them after last week. I was on the Raiders last week and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So when they get in a mood, they scare the shit out of me. Yeah. So I think that the Tigers, they tried really fucking hard against Canberra last week, and the Roosters are going to Roosters, like we said at the top of the show. So I think the Roosters win this. I think they do it handily. When I say handily, I don't think they're going to smack them. But I think they'll sort of cover that 8 to 10, 10 point spread. Adam Dewey's going to be better for the run as well. I quite like him in the 6 jumper. And Dane Laurie, which we spoke about.
I like him, mate.
Goer and a half, man. Yeah, he's nice. He's really good. So, he's, they had, he wouldn't have been training there at all throughout the preseason. They had Moses Imbai all preseason training at fullback.
Okay.
And then he just, he forced his way there in the later stages.
Was he a late? I think he was a late include. I think he might have come over just after Christmas or something like that in a transfer.
My understanding was the whole plan was Imbai at fullback all year.
Yeah.
And Dewey in this 6 role. And then this guy turned up and they just couldn't deny him. So in saying that, I'm going the Roosters. But I think the Tigers are going to be, they're going to fuck up a lot of multis this year. So staying away from them, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah, they are going to fuck up a few multis, whether you're backing them or you're backing against them. I'm going to go the Roosters as well. No surprises, very impressive. They put me on the lemon pie, the humble pie. The back rows were. So where's what's happened to Crichton? What happened to Crichton? Oh, he got suspended, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Crichton's out. That's a big loss for him too. But they were way too impressive. Even Hargraves coming off the bench, he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder, gave away a couple of penalties, but
he loves it.
He always pushes the line. They know what to expect from them. Yeah, it's very, very hard to back again. Freddie Lussick. So who else is out? Jake Friend's out as well.
Jake Friend, because he's had the 3 concussions in 6 months now, so they're giving him the Boy Cordner treatment, the Luke Carey treatment. A few concussions in that team, eh?
Fuck, man. I wouldn't be surprised. This is going to cost me again, but I wouldn't be surprised if the fucking Tigers beat them. But I'm going the Roosters.
Yeah. The more you look at it.
I just looked at a couple of the outs there. I should have probably just done more research.
As a back rower, mate, with an established career as yourself, you must love Satili Tupouniua's game.
I love him.
Bro, he's that raw. He's a real sort of throwback. Someone who'd turn up at park footy and just fucking tear your inside shoulder off. He's one of the guys who's getting better and better and better for the run. He kind of established himself in that sort of. he'd score a fuckload of tries coming off the bench, and he's obviously with Crichton and the injuries they have, he's forced his way in there. But he's a fucking nice player, man.
Yeah, his ceiling's massive.
He'd be a nightmare to tackle. He'd
Massive.
be all elbows and knees, and
Yeah, he hurt a few. I've seen. I think he was on Fozzie's edge, and Fozzie was getting up a little bit worse for wear.
he never looks like that. Fozzie, he always looks finished.
A bit banged up. Oh, yeah, another thing too. Grateful to see Fozzie get through a full game.
Yeah, awesome.
Like he played 16 games last year, but he even got a knee in the back from Hargraves. So like when you're a mate of his too, every little thing around Fozzie, you just go, fuck. But yeah, Manly. We'll see what happens, but. I'm not going to get better. I might leave that rule for the Roosters as well. I'm going the Roosters, but I'm not confident after a couple of outs. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if Tigers get them. The last game of the round, Sharks versus Raiders. Sharks at home. They got the dub. They started really well against the Dragons. Faded out a little bit. Really tough conditions to play in. I think it was pissing down all night or Sunday. I was at work. I went home and watched a replay. Can you pull the team up a little bit there, Lukey, please? And the Raiders were Raiders. Like, they're just one of those teams that very rarely blow a team away as well. Like, they can make things look ugly but still get the job done.
Yeah. I mean, look, as a Cronulla local now, I think I'm pretty educated to speak on this, mate. You'd like the area. I'll show you around, Scope. But I think this is my best bet of the weekend, actually. I think the Raiders are going to be much better this week than they were in round one. And as good as Cronulla played, it was good as Cronulla started. I think Canberra's going to be too good. So I like them this one. I actually like them in the minus. I like them at the line. I think it's 6.5. I think they get the chocolates here. George Williams, like I said, he's just getting better and better every game he plays, man. He can scoot, and he loves pushing through the middle there. So I'm a big fan of the Raiders this year. I think they're going to go very close to winning it all. I still have Penrith, but I think the Raiders are going to be right fucking there, man. And how can you not love a team that's got Chance in it? I mean, he's got to be the most lovable guy in rugby league at the moment. The smile's just infectious. So
it is. Yeah, the Hucker of Doom too in the New Zealand Maldies.
Oh, absolutely. As well. And good local boy there, Braden Hamlin-Ueli. I love you, but
slide down to the forwards. This is where I'm in agreement with you. I'm on the Raiders as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the back row is really nice. Toby Rudolph, Woodsy there.
I'd like to see Hodgson relax a little bit. He loves the ball play out of
well,
hooker.
I'll get to this point. I was watching the game with a couple of my mates, and I thought, you know
Jack
what?
Whiten?
The thing is, but that's not how they play.
Yeah.
Like, they play off Hodgson. Last year, they had to develop their game, and obviously Jack Whiten come into his own and wins Daly M off the back of not having him there. But in past years, once they started getting direct again in the second half, I think I said to my mates just before halftime, I said, start getting on the middles.
Yeah.
I said, because they're having a little play on first try scorers. Ryan James ended up bowling over. I said, watch this. They're going to play 2 or 3 plays off. It was like a Tony Romo type call.
Yeah.
And I got the boys to not clarify, verify this. I said, they'll take 3 carries around the middle, and then they'll look to go on the outside, and then Ryan James busts over for a try, and then one of the boys had him in his same game multi, so he was stoked.
5 minutes later, Tarpany crashes over as well.
So mate, that's where they play their best footy. If you're looking for a sneaky little bet, I know that's your best bet. I actually like it as well.
Yeah.
I think that last week having the best bet of the week at the end of the week worked well for us.
It's fun. I like it. Yeah.
And the Sharkies are in it again, but they're on the other end of it this time.
Yeah.
If you're having a little play, just don't have a look at Big Puppy and my boy Denugget Louie. Around in Tarps, like those boys.
He went close twice, Louis.
Yeah.
He's itching for a bit of meat.
So. There's some, when you play that style of footy and you've got for Raiders and you've got big boys like Toby Rudolph, Aaron Woods, Braden Hamlin-Ueli, they're not the most mobile guys as well. Laterally going side to side, and if they're going to play that type of footy, watch out for a couple of the Canberra middles to potentially cross over for a little early meaty.
I like
anytime or
anytime.
First try scorer.
Just on that, you say that's not sort of Canberra's in their DNA, because obviously Josh Hodgson is so fucking skilled. He's the captain as well, which helps, and he's got that forward back of doom that he plays off. Do you not have a look at last year though, and have a look at how well Jack Whiten played when you did play a bit more of a, to use an NFL reference, a spread offense, when you played a little bit more in those wider channels, and obviously fucking Elliot Whitehead's a massive part of that as well. But do you not think that's because it seemed to me that they just didn't want to go there at all? They just were focused on 4 tackles in this, in between the hash marks, and then on 5th they flick it to Jackie and see what he can do. But
I thought they just were going too sideways. Like when their shape in the first half, they were trying to spread it to either edge, and it was just like sideways. So they'll find a perfect way of meshing it together by even though Jack Whiten might not be getting the ball, when he does get that one, it might even be on for Jack Whiten. Like it's not going to be, when
I say get it to him, I don't pass it.
And he's going to be running out the back of some of those blocks that are going to open up after they keep. It's a phrase we always use in footy, keeping them honest. Inside shot, I keep tipping like early on in games, keep them honest, then go out the back, and there might be a one-on-one with Jack Whiten and potentially our boy Matty Moylan or Chad Townsend there at 3.
I think that's
and then he can step off his left or right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's education footy, mate. That's why I sit down with guys like you, That's why I think Parramatta were actually guilty of in their game up in Brisbane. They were just trying to go very wide, try and score off every play.
They look like a touch team sometimes.
Yeah, they were just trying to score off every fucking play and go around them. And then, like you said, when they decided to start keeping them honest, they ground their way back into the game. And you get Reeds goes over. They start scoring tries through the middle, and all of a sudden Fergo's got a bit more room. Gutho's got a bit more room. So makes sense, mate. Footy maths.
All right, mate. So that's your best bet of the week. What is your multi of doom?
Multi of doom. So I'm very honoured to be on this week. So after your horrendous round 1 performance, so here I go, mate. I've got the Storm just as my little cover bet right to start, straight head to head.
Okay.
So I think they're going to get the chocolates up there. It's going to be close, like I said, and Parry will probably scare the shit out of anyone who does jump on this. But I think Melbourne's a pretty safe bet anytime you're looking at a multi. And then I've got Mutters and our Dragons. Okay,
Ooh,
so
nice.
I'm adding a bit of value here. If you did want to be cautious, the line I think is +6.5, which is not dumb. Because I think it's going to be a close game. So if you want to be cautious, get on the plus. But if you want to roll with your boy, get on them head to head. And then the Raiders are my best bet, and I like.
So what are we going to go though?
We're going to go straight head to head because we're
Love
fucking
that.
degenerates. And I'll take the Raiders at the line at the minus as well. So I'm going to take a bit of points away from the Sharkies. I think it's 5.5.
All right, I'll put that on for us now.
Put it on, bro. And I still like it. So that's Storm into the Dragons, into the Raiders at the line. And I think it should get you about $8, something like that, which is pretty fucking juicy.
That's jam.
That's jam. So
And this podcast is jam.
This is jam.
This is jam.
Weekly jam. So, and obviously you've got the same gamer on Thursday, which we've posted up, and we're looking forward to that as well. I fucking like that. So I think there's a bit of money. There's some free money on the table that we're giving out here, mate, on a Thursday. So it's good.
Good luck, brother.
Go, bro. Let's do it.